Welcome to another episode of the Peak Potential Success Show. My name is Fong. I'm an entrepreneur, business strategist, real estate investor, speaker, and also best-selling author. And every single day, I help others unlock the potentials and guide them to succeed. Today on the show, we have another great guest. She comes highly recommended. Every time I see her on social media, at live conferences, at virtual conferences, she's always there connecting with people, helping people, and just somebody who's very, very passionate in what she does. And the thing that she does is most often overlooked by many business owners. And they tend to, well, why do I need that? Well, we're going to find out. She loves helping businesses and her clients grow, succeed, and of course, save money, which is absolutely very, very important. She's also an expert in this aspect, which is proactive tax planning. What the heck is that? I mean, most people go, oh, taxes are due tomorrow. You'll get it in a shoebox 3 days from now.
Exactly.
So tax planning, very, very important as well. She is an expert in tax credits, tax strategies. So please welcome National Sales Director at Finances Made Simple, Ms. STACEY DOEGE.
Thank you so much, Fong. I'm excited to talk about this because, I always say everybody seems to have a financial planner, right? They've got their wealth strategist, they're helping them in that field. But most people we find do not have a tax plan or a tax planner, and they really go together. And that's what our company specializes in, is proactive tax planning. On any given day, there's 200 to about 250 tax strategies that are being left on the table. We always start with a discovery call, just to help business owners pay less in taxes. If we can keep so much of our hard-earned money, it makes the world a little bit easier to digest on a daily basis. And people work hard. We don't want them leaving their money on the table at the IRS. So they took our strategists. I always say I need a disclaimer. I'm not a CPA. We have strategic partnerships around the United States, and we help business owners pay less in taxes. And they took my business, my taxes last year, from owing six figures, not just to zero, but a refund. So I hadn't seen a refund in decades. So it was very fun. And people say to me, do you sleep at night? Are these legal tax strategies? Yes, they're legal tax strategies. And just exactly what you said, Fong. So many people give their CPA, and that was me. I would give my CPA my receipts. I'd say, here's my numbers. They'd put them into their little system, and then they'd spit out my bill. And they never met with us quarterly. We'd have to reach out to them. And that bill was getting worse and worse. And business owners do not like that. We meet with our businesses quarterly. Some don't need it quarterly, but we will periodically throughout the year, so that we're not suddenly giving them a bill like, here's $300,000 that you owe the IRS. And they're just sick about it. So we strategize throughout the year with our clients. We help them be proactive, whether it's they want to sell their business, transfer their business to next generation, or do they want to grow their business? Are they ripe and rotten? Or are they green and growing? And we want them to help them strategize. And when we make any decision with my husband and I always say, if you knew my husband, you'd know we sleep at night, because he would never do, and neither would I do anything that wasn't legal, ethical, and moral. So yes, we do sleep well at night, to go back and answer that question, but we want to help people on their way throughout the year. We don't want them to suddenly get a bill at the end of the year. So we help business owners strategize and make good decisions. Anytime my husband and I do something, we talk to not just our wealth planner, but we talk to our tax planner, and we get both sides of the coin, and then we're able to make an educated decision.
No, that's absolutely fascinating, because lots of people go, wait, I have an accountant. Isn't that their job? Shouldn't they? They've done all the education. I'm paying them big bucks to do all this stuff. So how come they're not the people that's guiding us along with regards to how to save on taxes, how to maximize on the strategies, and we have to go and find somebody else to do so? Like, why is there such a discrepancy there?
Well, and at the end of the day, nothing against CPAs. We often partner with CPAs. We'll be the strategist part if people want to keep their own CPA. We're okay with that. What we have found is a lot of people have outgrown their CPA. Their businesses have grown. They maybe started out with them 10, 20, 25 years ago, and they don't want to leave because they have a partnership with them, but they know essentially that they could be doing better. So a lot of CPAs are doing the compliancy part. They're filing the tax returns. Maybe they're doing their books. They're helping them make sure deadlines are being met throughout the year, but they don't have time to stop and strategize. And that's where we come in. We're like, you know what? Keep your CPA. At the end of the day, we will help strategize, and then you can give those things to your CPA if you choose to. Some people want us to replace their CPA, and we can do that too. So it is unfortunate because they don't have the time. Their niche market is to do tax returns. So they do as many as they can. That's essentially how they make their money. And they don't always have the time to strategize. So we don't want to beat up CPAs. We want to work with them if we can, just so that they can offer, hey, we have partnered with strategists and they will help you. Make sure you're not leaving any money on the table at the IRS.
Mm-hmm. Is there do you butt heads with CPAs then?
Sometimes,
or is it usually pretty easy relationship to kind of get along with?
Some are defensive. They don't want us, and we don't want them to think that we're one-upping them. That may not be where their specialty lies, and that's okay, right? Some are defensive, some are okay. They recognize, like, gosh, we are leaving some things on the table. Two of our favorite tax strategies that we're using right now are tax credits. And they just don't have the time and the manpower to do these tax credits. One of our strategies that we're using is the ERC tax credit. It's available to those in the United States, and they can get up to $26,000 for every employee. It's connected to COVID, and it's about to end. And to answer your question on that one piece, Fong, is that we have 40 people in our back office processing that tax credit. Most CPAs don't have 40 employees to take from tax strategy or from tax processing tax returns, but we do. We have 40 people just in that one department processing tax strategies or tax credits, if you will. So we don't want a CPA. We've heard people say their CPA said they don't qualify because they don't have time to do it. So they're just kind of downplaying this tax credit. And it's unfortunate. The other one we see, we do a lot, and this is an annual tax credit, is the research and development tax credit. And that is one where employers, they're doing things to improve the processes and the procedures of their business. Some do it every day and don't realize they're doing it. It's an annual tax credit. It's been around since 1981. It had 12 changes between 1981 and 2015. In 2015, it became a permanent part of our tax code, and it's called the PATH Act of 2015. And get this, the acronym is Protecting Americans from Tax Hikes. That's a concept. Nobody wants a tax hike. Nobody wants to pay more in taxes. We'll pay our fair share, but we don't want, again, it's an annual tax credit. And it was really hard to get that one prior to 2015. Now it's a little easier. It's still not easy, but it's a specialty tax credit. I had my knees replaced 5 years ago, and I know I'm too young to have done that. But the cartilage had worn out. I needed my knees replaced. I didn't go to my family physician to get my knees replaced, right? I went to a specialist, an orthopedic specialist, to have my knees done. Well, these tax credits are specialty things, and CPAs don't always do them, but that doesn't mean they're okay, that they're a bad thing. They just don't have time to do them. So we'd love to partner with CPAs, or even if a CPA doesn't want to do it, business owners can still come and work with us on these two tax credits and still work with their CPA. We don't have to do their tax returns. We don't have to strategize with them, but don't leave that kind of money on the table. The average tax recovery for the ERC tax credit is $200,000 to $250,000.
Oh, wow.
That's a lot of money. And unlike PPP, that tax credit, they could do whatever they wanted with it. For those in the United States, they know what PPP is. I bet 99.9% of our companies got PPP. And if they did, they're probably eligible for the ERC. And the ERC stands for Employee Retention Tax Credit. And it's $26,000, up to $26,000 per employee. It's less in 2020, more in 21, but we will do an estimate for them and just see if there's any money that's being left on the table. So unfortunately, a lot of business owners have been told they don't qualify, and that's just not true. There were 8 changes made in 2021, And people didn't realize the CPAs didn't stay on top of it. And again, in their defense, they did not know that that all these changes were being made because it was during tax season.
Mhm.
CPAs don't have time to read every bulletin that's coming out during tax season because they're doing taxes and they barely see their families, right? So, yeah.
That sounds kind of odd though. Like you would think that accountants, oh, you can't just say, "Well, I don't have time to be updated with my craft," kind of thing, right? But I
I
guess
know.
that's why people need you and your expertise.
Yeah.
Now, how come in the general public, your industry doesn't get that much like limelight? Like it's not one of those professions people go, "Oh, we need to talk to a tax
Yeah.
strategist or a tax credit expert." They think accountant right away.
Yeah. I think to answer, that's a very good question. We always scratch our head too, but I think it's growing in popularity. The tax code changes all the time, every day. And that is why there's so much confusion. I think a lot of people don't realize the tax code is complex in any country, probably, right? We just specialize here in the United States, and we know it's constantly changing and evolving. And yes, they need to be staying on top of it. But if they're not going to be, offering these services because they don't have the time, the manpower, they're probably not going to be able to stay on top of. Sorry, I just heard my doorbell ring here. They're not going to be able to offer those things, so they just don't stay on top of it. It is gaining in popularity. People want things that are specialized. They're willing to pay for some specialty things because at the end of the day, how much is it costing you to keep a CPA who's not staying on top of it, right? It's gaining in popularity. It's costing millions of dollars a year in tax credits and tax strategies by not partnering with someone on that. So I hope that people will recognize, hey, we could partner with people. CPAs could partner. It's just a value add. We actually had a insurance agency that has a membership group partner with us to offer our services to their agency members. So it doesn't have to just be a certain type of industry. Anybody could look at doing this with us. And individuals can do it. Membership groups can do it. At the end of the day, don't pay more than you need to.
Right. Now you've helped so many people, individual base and also business owners and businesses themselves. On average, are you able to give us like a percentage as to how much most people come and save when they work with you? Because the thing is, they might think that, okay, I have to pay you too, and I also have to pay my accountant, so that's more cost. Is there like a rough ballpark range as to, okay, if I do this, after all the costs and whatnot, we're saving 10%, 20%?
Good question. We don't, our gamut runs from a small business owner to multi-million-dollar industries, right? So it's not even the fact that I'm not keeping a statistic on there because I don't want someone to think, oh, we have to be a multi-million-dollar empire to work with us. We will look at small businesses too. And if we can't give a substantial savings, we might give somebody some tax ideas and say, hey, it's not worth it for us to work with you yet. Maybe we do their tax returns, but we're not strategizing with them yet. They're not big enough. We'll give them some free tax advice even and say, come back to us when you've grown. There's something that's called a fractional CFO. Maybe they hire us to help with the metrics of helping them grow in different areas of their business, and then they might need a strategist. So we do not want to take someone's money or charge someone if we cannot substantially help them save money and taxes. So I don't have a statistic on that. It is growing in popularity. We're going to. I'm keeping track of my own personal things. We've got numbers for how much we save in taxes, in strategies, in different, the research and development. I can give an average. We keep an average on our ERC tax strategies. So I've got some of those that we're tracking as a whole because our industry is so big and it depends on which area that they want help in. Some people want help to retain their employees. So we've got that piece of the puzzle. There's a lot of ways that we can help business owners. It's not just in tax strategies. So to answer your question, I don't have those off the top of my head. We do keep track of them in the back office. I just don't have them on my fingertips for my particular businesses.
Which is why it's so important for people to contact you, have that discussion to see what the opportunities and potential can be.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Now, we mentioned this before about the proactive tax planning. Like I said, lots of people, why am I planning this? I do the work, I submit my numbers. I do the work, I submit my numbers. That's the tax credit person's job, and that's the accountant's job. How do you plan? What are some things that people don't realize that they could do beforehand to allow them to save money for stuff that they're already doing?
There's so many ideas out there in the tax planning world. They could do cost segregation. There's something called the Augusta rule, where they can actually rent out their house even to themselves. And it started with, if anybody's familiar with the Masters, the big golf, it's actually coming up Easter weekend here. Where people were renting out their homes to them, to people, and they'd leave and they, because it's such an influx coming into Augusta, Georgia for this tournament. So there's actually a law called the Augusta rule. And again, it's something that people can do. One of our strategists even rented his house to himself to host a lot of his clients for a New Year's Eve event. So that's just a small idea. People can hire their children. Now people think, oh, I can hire my children. I think they need to be 7 or older. We had a dentist that was taking pictures of his children for their website or whatever. So their children were considered models, right? So there's a lot of, but there's, it's not just as simple as saying, oh, I hired my children. They have to set things up. And we do that. We will set it up for them. We'll help them claim those things. They can donate to charities. There's farming. The IRS loves farmland. Farm and hunting land. There's a lot of ideas that are not being utilized that we can help them implement. So we always start with a discovery call. It's like, okay, what are some things that they could be missing? We just do a free discovery call. It's like, let's just have a conversation with you. We do valuations of businesses. We had one of my businesses, we'd done ERC with them, R&D with them. We did tax strategies with them. We've saved this guy's multi-million dollars in savings, not just in savings, but putting real dollars in his pocket, because a lot of these tax strategies or these tax credits are refunds, cash refunds, that they get cash checks right from the IRS. So in December, we were doing a quarterly call with a gentleman, and he randomly says, oh yeah, I'm selling our business. And we're like, what? When? He said, at the end of the month. I mean, we're like, well, that would have been good to know, because the longer we know someone's going to sell their business, the more we can help someone. Well, he was selling his company, and he thought his company was worth 30 or 40 million. We did a valuation for him. It was $120 million. Ooh. He was way off. So we can do a valuation. We have one of our new agents. He wants to get out of his business. He owns a dental lab, and he needs to know how much is his business, worth, so he can negotiate. So we did this valuation with them, and we even showed him what to say and how to negotiate so he could sell his business. So, we're just wanting to help people get the most out of their businesses that they can. So at the end of the day, it never hurts to have a conversation. It costs nothing to do that.
Wow, that is incredible. I mean, it's like they just made the jackpot. When people come to you, I know you've talked to many people from all different walks of life and all different types of businesses. What are some of the most common misunderstandings that people have when they first come to you?
I think for us, two things and I'll go with these tax credits that so many people are missing, because they're easy tax credits. They're easy. They do not take a lot of effort. They're money in your pocket, and they're literally one can be a cash check that comes to you. The other one could be, if we're working in tandem with their CPA, they will just take, let's say someone's getting $10,000 in, or even, $20,000, $30,000 in our research and development tax credit. If we're working in tandem with your CPA, we don't have to amend returns. They can take that $30,000 right off what you owe from the IRS right now. So it doesn't have to be amending returns or something that could trigger an audit. But when we do tax credits, it's a great way for us to get under the hood and just take a peek at some simple things that you might be missing. That research and development is an annual tax credit that we can work in tandem with your CPA. The ERC tax credit, that a big misconception is people are being told they do not qualify. Both of those tax credits, actually. And why wouldn't someone at least look, right? It costs nothing to look, but people have been told incorrectly because of all the changes that were made that they don't qualify. And that's really unfortunate because they think it's going to be too much work. They think they could get an audit. They think that that they're going to, is it going to cost them too much or it'll take too much time? And actually the systems and the processes that we have for our clients is so smooth. I always go back to it costs nothing to look. Why wouldn't we at least have a conversation? So if people think they're going to get an audit, we defend people at no additional cost. One of the things that our company does that most firms do not do, we act as if every single client we have is going to get an audit. I will tell you, I have not had one in all these years, not one of my clients personally have gotten an audit. But wow. I want people to be put at ease that when our company has had an audit, there's something called a paper audit. Oftentimes the IRS will say, hey, we want to audit this case. They want to see our working papers. They want to see our documents, and we have them at the ready. We don't want to go back 3 years and go, to our clients and say, do you remember the issues you had? Or do you remember what you did differently in 2020 or 2021? We act as if everybody's going to have an audit. So we're at the ready if they do get one, and we will defend our clients at no additional cost. So oftentimes it's a paper audit. It's case closed because now here's our documents. We have proof. We can defend it. Case closed. So I don't want people to feel like, these tax credits do not trigger an audit. Anybody could get the luck of the draw, but they do not trigger an audit, and we'll be there to help clients if they get one. But I would say none of my clients have had one to date. And I love that I can tell people that. So it's exciting. We rarely get an audit as a firm, but if we do, we're at the ready.
Awesome. Wow, that's absolutely incredible. I mean, the stuff that you do and the stuff that you have to research, most people obviously don't have time to do so. Yeah. And that's why it's so important to talk to you about it. Now, with regards to money on the table, like you talked about it before, how much is actually left on the table that people don't realize?
Some of the statistics we have is that 60% of business owners are overpaying in taxes. That's a lot. People often ask me, how do you know if you have a good CPA? And I always say, are they bringing you tax credits and are they strategizing with you? And I bet 99% of the people I talk to are in that category. They're like, well, no, I just bring them my numbers. Like you said, I bring them my receipts, Fong, and they give me a number. So $1.5 billion in annual refunds went untouched. That's an incredible amount of money. And then I have another one that I wrote down that 75% of employers are eligible, yet more than 63% of ERC funds are going unclaimed. And that is probably the biggest thing. We are talking right before quarter two is about to start for 2023. And that is the main thing that, really, I hope people take away from today is that employee retention tax credit is about to end. Quarters will start to fall off in quarter two. Currently, there's 6 quarters available, and I just don't want to see people leaving that money on the table. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, but what it is, Fong, is a refund of overpaid payroll taxes. So it is connected to COVID. Everybody that we've talked to doesn't think they qualify. They think they had to have a decline of revenue. And that is one way to qualify, but it is not the only way. And so I want to make sure that nobody is wishing they'd heard about this when this is over, right? Always have a 5-minute conversation. We can email. We can even put the link in there for people to either get get on my Calendly link, or they can click on a link and get a survey to get their own estimate. But at the end of the day, if people have 4 or 5 full-time employees, they want, and they had any pain points during COVID, did they have a decline of revenue? That's great, because that's a wonderful way to qualify, because if they had a quarter in 2020 or 2021 where they had a decline of revenue, the following quarter, they'll automatically get no questions asked. So it's kind of a twofer, right? So, but if they did not have a decline of revenue, which the vast majority of our companies did not, and we've done 4,000 of these recoveries so far, and recovered almost $1 billion in recovery. That's a lot of money to help our clients that they can do whatever they want with. But what they want to look at is, how is business, or how is commerce different in 2020 and 2021 than 2019? And, conferences weren't held. People had to work from home. People didn't come into their businesses. I live in Minnesota, and we were closed. And even when we reopened, only so many people could be in a business at one time. And I know a lot of states in the United States had that same issue. Restaurants could only reopen at 50% capacity for a long time. Some companies only could have takeout. So, hair salons were closed, dentists were closed. So even if they weren't closed, maybe they were partially closed. Supply chain issues were all over the news. There's still supply chain issues. So we just ask, how was commerce different in 20 and 21 than it was in 2019? And if they had any issues, let's at least have a conversation. So, and if people took the PPP, they may want to for sure look at it, because we're finding the vast majority of those people qualified.
Now, I know you're focused in the States. Would you say that this type of role that you play in the States are common like throughout other countries?
We have not, we've talked to other companies, and we're finding a lot of, like, someone I think was talking about Mexico yesterday, that they had nothing to help them. It was just like, well, that's the way it is. So, and it's like, oh my goodness, so many people could have used some help, especially those, even if they were an employee and couldn't go to work because their business was closed. Some business owners shut down and then closed permanently. So they were without that money forever. They had to go find a different job. So I do think there were other companies or other countries, that did offer some things. But again, we're not specialized in other nations. I wish we were sometimes. The group that you and I are a part of, Fong, there are so many countries that are a part of this, group. And it makes me sad when I can't help them. We've had multiple conversations just trying to help business owners, because some people do business in the United States, but they're not based here, So we always say, let's have a conversation, see if there's anything we can do to help them. And if we can't, we'll tell them, because we do not want to waste anybody's time or their money. We really want to add value. And if we can't, we're going to tell somebody.
Now, if somebody wants to go and find a tax strategist or a tax credit expert, what are some of the things that people should ask to somewhat vet them out to make sure that, okay, this is the right person for me? Myself, when I found my mortgage broker or my realtor, I would go and interview like 4 or 5 of them just to make sure I have a good fit with one. What would you recommend for people to do when they're looking for a tax strategist?
Well, and are they proactive? Do you have to do all the calling? Do you have to, always be checking with them? Proactive means we're scheduling things. We're reaching out to them, if not quarterly, periodically throughout the year. Are they bringing them tax credits? Are they going to, in what capacity are they going to file their returns? Or are they just going to, are they going to do strategies with them? Or are they just going to hand them a receipt at the end of the year and say, here's your bill, pay us, and then we'll file your returns? So how long have they been around? What does their team look like? It is a one-man band. Now, nothing against a one-man band, but the strategic partnerships we need are, are they going to help with when they sell the business with capital gains? Can they help them retain their employees? Right now, we've had trouble getting employees, most businesses, but that's changing. We see, Facebook or Meta is about to lay off a whole bunch more people. And we're starting to see that more and more. the table's going to change where people are going to be looking for not just employees anymore, but good employees. You know, we used to say if they held up a mirror and they smogged up the mirror, we'd hire them, right? It's not going to be that way anymore. And so how can they retain those good employees or hire good employees? So again, we've mentioned multiple things that we can help people do throughout this this conversation, but besides just their taxes, what else can a tax strategist do for them? And not just their taxes. They want to be able to help them exit or grow their business in multiple areas. So if they can't do that, they might be good, but could they be great, right? Is it a step up from a CPA just where they're handing them their tax returns and here's the bill, to tax credits, tax strategies, and beyond? So find out what other services they're offering, and then the cost. You know, our cost is going to be in direct correlation to how much we can save you. If we're just going to save you a little bit, we're charging a little bit. If we can save you a lot more, you know, our fees are our services are not necessarily cheap, but oh my gosh, if we let's say we charge you 10, 20, 30,000, but we're saving you six figures in taxes, it will pay for itself over and over and over again. It's not going to be, oh, they saved me a little bit one time. We're going to save them every year. So you want a strategist that's going to continue to work with you and help you, not just with low-hanging fruit, but I had someone that said to us, you know, we want to know, we don't want to go over the line, but we want to know where the line is on saving taxes. You know, no one wants to do things that are, you know, no one wants to be in jail, right? And no one wants to pay a lot in fees and fines if something happens. So people want to know, where's the line that I can go to, but not cross over legally? Because I don't want to be doing anything fraudulent, and we don't want our people to. We're not that kind of a tax company, right? We're going to do it right. We're going to do it the right way. But people are wanting to know, where is that boundary? Because we want to save money in taxes. We want to keep the money that we work so hard for. And the tax code is made for business owners, but unfortunately, not everybody knows the tax code, and we do.
Well, that's mainly because the tax code isn't exactly exciting reading. So
no, and it's very hard to understand. So that's what we do, is we know the tax code and we understand it, so we know how to apply it.
Do you challenge other partners and whatnot, going, okay, page 57, paragraph 5?
I don't think they're doing that because they, you know, they're so amazing. They can, when we give someone a tax plan, we've got the tax code in that plan. So we can say, here's the tax code to back that up. This is the idea. Here's the tax, you know, here's the tax code. So people know it's not, you know, like we're not randomly grasping at something. We know the tax code, and we can give you exactly where that savings is coming from and why we can do it with your business.
Now, what's your fascination with taxes? I mean, aside from helping other people save money, which I'm sure it gives you a lot of joy, but to be in this field, one, you have to really, really like numbers, and two, you have to really, really like reading something like the tax code.
Yeah.
So what's your origin? Like, were you always fascinated with this kind of stuff and just kind of got into it? Or you just found, like, you know what, I see something that most people don't see and I love it.
Yeah, it's hilarious because I was in the makeup industry for 25 plus years. I was a senior sales director. It's a nationwide or a international company. And somewhere along the line, we started doing, I was easing out of that because I was really we started doing insurance stuff. And I'm like, insurance? Who wants to do insurance? I mean, that is like, just even the thought of it, it was repulsive to me because I saw it as someone in a used car sale, you know, used car salesman in plaid. Nothing against salesmen in the car industry, but you know, they just have that image of being not trustworthy, and that's how insurance people were looked at, you know, in my mind and other people's mind. Well, we realized that we had a niche market in this insurance in the state of Minnesota. So we started doing this insurance for group health. And it was so fun because insurance is so expensive, just like taxes, right? It's so expensive, it's necessary. So I thought, okay, I'm going to get into this market because we really can help people, not just women look great, but we could help families save a whole bunch of money in this niche market. So we started building our business. Finances Made Simple had been in the industry for 25 years. And I was joining them probably 8-9 years ago to do this. And it was so fun. I loved the pursuit of helping people going into their businesses and really making an impact. Well, and we were also in a supplemental vein, and that supplemental insurance was helping people, not just business owners, save money in health insurance, also in heart, cancer, accident. And the niche market for that was that if they didn't use it, they could get their money back. I'm like, wow, if that would be great if health insurance did that, or car insurance. Hey, I didn't have an accident. Can I get my money back? Right. So again, it was another thing that nobody else was doing. And I loved that. Well, as we were building that part of this business, these tax credits started showing up. And we're like, okay, we love working with business owners. How can we work with business owners in both these veins, right? So we started doing the research and development tax credit, and then COVID hit a few years later. And we're like, well, we're not going to do the ERC tax credit because every CPA in the book is going to do it. You cannot believe it. But within a short amount of time, we realized nobody was doing it because they were busy doing taxes, right? Tax returns. And we said, we have to do this because this money, there's $1.9 trillion that was earmarked for this tax credit. So we created the systems and the processes, the procedures. And in the meantime, we started having all these strategic partnerships these last few years. And we sold our book of insurance business last fall to just help business owners pay less in taxes, retain their employees, and keep more of their hard-earned money. So never in a million years did I think I'd do insurance. Never in a million years did I think I'd do tax credits. My background is in psychology. So I'm like, how did I end up in this field? I have no idea. I'm a believer, so I think it's a God thing. I'm like, okay, God, you've led us down this path. I love working with people. I love helping people realize there's so much more available to them than they ever imagined. And it's just a passion that we've had to really work with business owners. And we have people who take good care of our insurance clients now, but at the end of the day, we really realize how much people are being impacted by what they didn't know. You know, our business coach had us on stage a couple of years ago at their big event, and he said, it's not what you know, it's what you don't know that hurts you. And that is what we've ran with, is we realized, you know, how much money was I leaving on the table? And then we started talking to other business owners, and we have to help them. So that's what started us down the path. It was a winding road, but we've arrived, and the benefits that we can help business owners with is immense. And that's why we're passionate about it.
I guess the question now is like, what currently can you not imagine being in? And then 5 years later, you might be in that industry too.
Who knows? The door is open, and it's so fun because our strategists, our CEO, our COO, the head of our company is constantly looking for the next strategic partnership. We do not just sit back and go, oh, we help people with tax strategies. We know that there is a big world out there, and someone might be watching this and say, hey, we could partner with them for them to offer our services. We don't know. So again, we don't know what we don't know. Where our door is always open to something that could be a strategic partnership to help the next industry, the next client, the next person. And then at the end of the day, that's helping families, and that changes lives at the end of the day. So I don't know, people always say, how long? And I said, I cannot imagine not doing this. I can work from anywhere. So if we want a vacation in Florida, or we want to go to Italy, or I can work from anywhere. So I don't know that I have an ending date to helping our clients. And then the people that we have behind us, if someone retired or someone, what our tax strategist didn't want to be our tax strategist, we have multiple people just set to behind them to come alongside and continue what we're doing. We will never, how do I want to put this? The people and the processes that we have in place, we will never have a drop if someone suddenly wanted to move on. So I don't know that I would ever want to leave what I'm doing. So 5 years down the road, it's just going to be us continuing to take really good care of our clients.
Nice. At the very beginning, you mentioned how you worked with your tax strategist. So how come somebody who is as knowledgeable as you still have somebody else looking at your stuff?
Yeah. Well, like I said at the beginning, I'm not a CPA myself. I'm the connector to the people that need the services we offer. So I didn't know what we didn't know. I didn't know what we didn't know. And once we realized in the last few years, we were going, okay, we need you to look at this. And when our business grew exponentially, we had to make changes in what we were doing. And so we've had some changes over the last few years, but last year was the biggest one where my strategist took our returns from owing six figures down, not just to zero, but a refund. And here's the thing. My husband took early retirement last year at the age of 60. And he was a CEO in an electric co-op industry and had a really good job, right? He had a great income, great benefits, and his taxes were coming out weekly or bi-weekly or bi-monthly when he was getting paid. So I still owed six figures, and his taxes, he was not a 1099 employee. He was not retired. He was a W-2 employee with taxes being taken out already. And I still owed that kind. And people will say, well, that means you had a good year. Yes, that's true. But that doesn't mean I want to give up my money either, right? So that's where we're going, okay, we've used some low-hanging fruit in the years prior. What are some other strategies that we have not been implementing that we now need to do to put our money so we're not being taxed on this? So one of the things we did with one of our clients, we took the money that they would have owed to the IRS. This was just in January. Took the money they would have owed to the IRS, and they were able to buy a retirement plan for every single one of their employees. They had 18 full-time employees. Not only did they help their employees get this retirement plan, it saved them $240,000 for the year in taxes, 60 grand less per quarter, and they netted $89,000 in their bottom line. So there's so many things that could be done that that we are going to go in and help people get that money. So to answer your question, Fong, we often start with low-hanging fruit that are easy, and then we're going, okay, what else could be done that could retain your employees or help you put your money so you do not have to pay taxes on that. So hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah, no, and the thing is, everybody has somebody else that they can kind of bounce ideas off of, and you definitely had somebody else that can oversee your thing, because sometimes when you're right there in the mess, so to say, you don't see your own things, right? So then you have a third person perspective to a coach, a mentor, a strategist who can also look at it as well and then bounce ideas off of. Now, I know that you're very involved with a lot of other areas, not just in this one specific spot with regards to tax strategies and tax credits. You're involved with like businesses, entrepreneurship, and whatnot. Why still expand out to so many different areas?
Well, I just think you never know, one, who you're going to meet, right? I love the idea of what if there's something that I could do either for them or that they could do to help our clients. So I just think, we never want to be spread too thin, right? Do you want to be 2 inches wide or 2 inches deep, right? So if you're only 2 inches wide and you're spread too thin, then you're not good for anybody. So again, it's having the systems, the processes, the procedures so that we can go vertical, either for our own business and our people or for their clients. So I think it's fun to love the learning. We recently started looking into working in the private equity world. if we hadn't been involved in some of the people and the systems that we're in and the groups that we're in, we would have never considered doing something like that. And what an exciting thing. There's so much potential in that world to help people. We know people are trying to sell their businesses, but they don't have a buyer. They don't know how. Is an ESOP a good idea? Or should we get, some partnerships to buy us out and make us bigger and better? So we're putting a toe into private equity now. So we don't know. And sometimes we'll try something and we find that's not for us. We've done multiple things with our company, and we'll try something. We vet some things out sometimes for years before we offer it to our clients. So we're very conservative in nature. We won't offer anything that we haven't test driven and looked into a long, long time. So we're always vetting things out. We never want to rest on our laurels. We never want to get too big for our britches that we think we know it all, right? Because there could be something new. AI is huge right now. It's new, it's newer to us, but we're getting it. We're going, okay, what is this? How could it help our clients? Or how could it help us run our company better and smoother? We don't know yet, but we're looking into it.
That is absolutely awesome. I love how you continue to grow and continue to connect, and it's a lot based on the fact that you don't know. You don't know what's going to happen. So let's say we put you on the world stage once again, and you have a couple minutes to share with the world the message that Stacey wants to share. What's that one message that you want everybody to remember you by?
I think you don't know what you don't know, and it never hurts to have a conversation, right? It never hurts to go, hey, am I overlooking something? Am I missing something that could help my family, my business? Have a conversation, talk to us. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it didn't cost you anything to look.
Awesome. Good words to live by. Thank you very much. Before I let you go, I know you have lots of money to go and save. I got 5 quick questions. Give me the first thing that comes to mind.
Oh, gosh. Okay.
All right. You're stranded on a deserted island, one food to eat for the rest of your life. No consequence.
Pizza.
Awesome. Hollywood calls and goes, Stacey, we love your story. We think it's absolutely amazing. We would love to do a biopic on you. Who would you like to be casted to play you?
Oh, my gosh. That's a horrible question. Oh, my goodness. I don't stay on top of people enough. I think I'm always studying business. Let me come back to that one.
All right. Mystery person gets casted to play your role, shows up at your door and goes, hey, I got casted. I'm very excited. Man, I'm hungry. And you go, don't worry, mystery person. Let me go back and fix you something nice. What's that special dish that you would bring out?
Reservations.
Here's an address.
This is why this is so funny. People who know me, I can cook, but I don't love it. It's not my thing at all. And I can do it. But we are right now in my house, we are remodeling our kitchen. We just took out our ovens and we're having new ovens put in. I had one because we bought a house that we're remodeling. And we're having 2 ovens put in. And it's a joke because I don't know that I'll ever use 2 at the same time unless it's a holiday. So maybe once or twice a year. But we used to joke that I carpeted my oven because I just don't like to cook. So I would take that person out for dinner.
A hidden talent that not many people know about.
Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Another hard one, Fong. I think that oh gosh. I think that I can sleep like nobody's business. I don't know if that's a talent, but
I think really you're the first one to put sleep as a talent, so I'll give you that.
Because so many people struggle at it, and I'm like, I protect that. I've got all these ideas to stay, make sure that I sleep every night. So if I don't sleep, I don't function well. So I'm going to use that as a talent.
Well, let me say this: if you are able to say, I want to sleep, click, and you're out cold. That is a talent, and I wish I was able to do that too. Final question. Give me a number from 1 to 4.
3.
1, 2, 3. So if you had to relate success to a purse, how is success like a purse?
Okay. So the bigger the purse, the more you're going to put in it, right? The smaller the purse, the smaller items that go in there. You're going to like only the necessities. So to me, success would definitely be keep your purse small and keep the things in there that you really, really need in your life. Because again, you don't want to spread yourself too thin. You don't want too much clutter in there. Keep it streamlined. Keep it, so you're not digging through trying to find all the things. You know exactly what's in there. You have the tools and the trade things that you need in your trade to make your business successful.
Nicely, that's how success is like a purse. Before I let you go, what's the best way for people to reach out to find out more about what you do and how you can help them?
You can go to our website. It's financesmadesimple.net. Our parent company is lifetimeadvisors.com, so you can look up either one of us. But you can also send me an email. I always say, send me a text, an email, a smoke signal. There's so many ways to communicate nowadays, but pick up the phone and give us a text or a call. Because again, I always say it never hurts to have conversation.
Awesome. And any final words from you?
Thank you to you. I love this. I love getting to know you also. I just think all the different people that you are interviewing and putting on your podcast, because there's not one right answer for everybody, and we can all learn from different people. So I just want to say thank you to you, Fong. I think you're doing a great job spreading the word on a lot of different subjects.
Awesome. Thank you very much for that. I enjoyed this immensely. I learned a lot, and I enjoyed speaking with you and learning from you. So much appreciated your time and your expertise.
Thank you, Fong, so much.
Awesome. So for everybody else, make sure you connect with Stacy. There's a lot of great stuff on her social media, and of course, book a call with her because I'm sure she'll be able to help you with some form or another. She'll be able to help you. Until next time, she is Stacy. My name is Fong Chua. Today is the day to lock your peak potential. We'll see you later.